What's up there, SEO pros? Today what we're doing is we're doing an audit for a local bagel shop. And it's going to be an interesting audit because I've never done an audit for a bagel shop. We're here with Seamus, so we're actually going to be talking to him while we're doing this. And figuring out what we can do. One of the things that might be conflicting with our rankings is the fact that we have 3 different shops. As long as these are different names on the actual Google My Business, we should be okay, but it looks like we're using the same names. So it might be a good idea to do the name plus the city. That's how I do it with my different location pages whenever I've done like multiple locations. So the first thing that we do, as usual, well, hold on, let me just put this in here so I can track this. SEO Audit for Bagel Shop.
Sorry to interrupt, but have you shared screen with me?
Yeah, can you see it on Skype? Oh, for some reason it went away. Oh no, actually it's still there.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
No, that's okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to like so. And one of our main goals is to start to see what we can do to get ranked in the map pack. And a lot of that's going to come down to certain things around on-page, citations, NAP consistency. So that's probably the first things we're going to want to look at. But we definitely want to look at the actual site as well. So let's go into here, put that URL. So while that's going, let's look at the home page. So we're going to go like this, bring it into an SEO checker. I use SEO Centro. You can use whatever you like. All right, so we got a title. Title 67 characters, not too bad actually. It's just this checker's outdated. We got a meta description, which is good, 149 characters. Using the keywords meta tag. So this is where I start taking notes. Let's bring up text edit. And this was the last audit, so let me open up a new one. All right. All right, so the first thing is that we want to get rid of the keywords meta tag. Google doesn't look at it anymore, so it doesn't matter. We got H1s, H2s. Now, we do want to figure out what the home page is going for, because, for instance, we might be wanting to go for the main location on the home page and then the other locations on the sub pages. So if that's the case, then we can keep it like this. It really depends, though. So the thing that it really depends on is the actual search rates. The main location, what do you want to do in terms of that?
Jupiter would be the main location.
Okay, Jupiter. So bagel shop. So you already got that set up. So the big thing really is making sure that if we are going for this on the homepage, that the Google My Business page is pointing to this page on the homepage, and that the Google My Business pages are pointing to the other sub pages, which I'm hoping you have, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if you go under contact.
Okay, cool. So the Google My Business pages are pointing to these?
No.
Okay, yeah. So that could be one of the problems. So we want to point Google My Business and citations to specific landing pages. So like if you have 100 citations going to your homepage for Jupiter, but you also have 50 citations going to your homepage for the other locations, that's not going to look good, because that's going to really confuse Google and not know where you are. So that's why you need to make sure that you're pointing your specific citations and your Google My Business and all your local indexing profiles to the specific landing pages. Also,
even though those pages don't have as much content on them as the home page?
Well, the home page is ranking for Jupiter. You don't want the other pages ranking for Jupiter, if that makes sense. So if you don't have as much content on these, you would just probably want to fill them out with a little bit more content about those areas. We'll go into it a little bit more. But first of all, we want to make sure that the structured data for schema markup is pointing towards Jupiter. That sounds so funny. Sounds like it's pointing to the moon. So if we go into here, we've got a timeout. We're using organization markup, which if the homepage is just targeting like everything, then you can do that, but we really just need local business pointing to for Jupiter. So take out organization markup on homepage and use local business markup with NAP pointing consistent with main location. So the local business markup would be different for the sub pages, and then also we have duplicate website markup. I'm assuming that's probably showing up on most pages, and then this is fine. We're going to keep going through this. So content, we got 545 words on the homepage isn't bad. Let's check out what the link silos look like. So we got this, call now. Okay, I don't think that has to redirect. Maybe it does. Let's go back. And then underneath this, we got the menu, which I'm thinking this is probably on every page, isn't it? Yes, it is. So the problem with that is on the homepage it's fine because it's like, you know, the landing page for the homepage, but having this on every page makes it so that you have to scroll down to get to where you need to be. So generally you don't want the above the fold content to be the same on every page, unless it's a menu, if that makes sense. So I would, and I don't know how hard it is to take that out, but I would keep,
I don't know. But
I would keep above the fold content specific to each page. So in other words, remove the huge picture with call to action that's appearing on every page and just keep on homepage.
oh, so you're not talking about the links. You're talking about the big picture with the call.
Right, because if somebody lands on this off Google and they have to scroll down to get to the actual content they want, I mean, this is fine on the homepage, but if it's on every page, it's not good. Because they want to be immediately at an about page, or they want to be immediately at a blog post, that sort of thing. So we got the silos, and for some reason, did I just do this wrong? Okay, yeah, so that's pointing to the about page. And then the about page is not pointing to any other pages. So for that as well, we want to just make sure that we're interlinking to other important pages. Mainly because it passes authority to those pages.
I'm mainly trying to point to the pages that I'm trying to rank.
I mean, you just have to think of it from a user experience standpoint. If somebody lands on the about page from Google, it's kind of nice sometimes to have, like, you know, your brand right here. Or say, for instance, you had a page about you. You could put a link right there, so if they wanted to click to find out more. Or if, see, Bagel Boys, you could link right there to your homepage. If you're thinking about it from a user experience standpoint, that's the only thing you need to worry about. If you're thinking of it from a search engine standpoint on how can you just like pass all this link juice and rank these pages, you're going to have a bad time. Also, these about right here, in my opinion, sorry, I just got something in my throat. 1 second, let me get some water. In my opinion, the about probably should be moved over or something, and then also be a little bit more descriptive. Also, we have your logo like 3 times here, which I think is a little much. So I would try to reduce that too. But that's just more of a design thing. I'm not really that great at design. But optimize H1s to be more descriptive and you can just replicate the title tags for H1s. And so what that means is if we look at the title for this should say about, and then it should be about the family-owned shop in Jupiter, Florida, I believe. So the title tags need to also be more unique to the specific pages. If it's an about page, the title should show that. Because right now, if somebody types in about and they see this page on the search results and it just says Bagel Shop, family owned and operated, they're not going to know that's an about page.
Okay.
Go to the next one. Holy cow. Are these all comments right now? Oh wait, no, this is from the last audit. All right. So the menu, this looks good. The title looks good. So this is actually a pretty good page right here. But of course, you could put link silos. So I mean, that's not a bad page though. Catering, I almost said catering. Okay, so this doesn't actually. So this is just a drop down. So we click on this. Breakfast. Okay, so we got the silos here, which is great. Again, the above the fold is just taking up a lot right here to actually scroll to what people are looking for, but not too bad. And then the URLs are fine. So one of the big things really is figuring out if there's anything else we could rank for around this stuff, because right now our services, aka catering / whatever we're trying to rank for, is pretty limited, which isn't a bad thing. It's just that if we were to go to here, let's type in things around our main keywords. So like for instance, if we wanted to look for bagel shop or breakfast catering, whatever it is, and then looks like you're ranking pretty well right there.
Yeah, it's not my ad.
That's your ad as well too, yeah. But you should be showing up on the maps as well with the location extension. And then organically you're doing pretty well. But you can see that these site links are actually also pointing to those pages we were talking about. But you'll see right here, look, these people are ranking #1 organically. So this is a good sign for, well, not a good sign for you, but a good sign that we can use it as to our advantage. So we go to Ahrefs or whatever rank tracking you want to use, and we can plug them in here. One of the things we could do is we could look and see if there's any links that they have that we might be able to grab. And since there's so few, we could just go in there, look at them like this. And it looks like yellow pages, and then it looks like a university, not that much stuff. We're going to look at that in a second with the citations, but that's something that we might want to consider. Not really that big of a deal, but the more important thing is if we go to organic keywords, you can see these are all the different keywords they're ranking for. Now, we can use that to our advantage to build out different pages just by looking through what they have. Now, like I said, you don't want to be optimizing just for the search engines, but if there's legit services that people are finding and your competitors are ranking for that kind of stuff, it might be a good idea to try to take some of those and build out our service pages with that, or whatever it is. The other thing that we can do is we could go to your AdWords and we could actually look at the exact keywords that you're showing up for this stuff, and then we could build out organic pages around that, or pages that would rank organically. So would be a good idea to spend a little time looking at exact searches through AdWords and competitors keywords to see if we can build out a few more service pages. And the reason why the service pages are so important isn't just because you're going to be getting traffic and that sort of thing, but you get a better site architecture that Google gets to understand because you have other pages related to your main pages. If you don't have it, it's not that big of a deal, but something that's good to kind of work on if you have the ability to do that. And the thing is once you get a certain amount of service pages built out, you never really have to do it again. So if we go to blog, so this is good. The only problem is that this is appearing on separate pages, I believe. So if I click on this,
yeah,
the exact same text is showing up there. So that's duplicate content. So we want to do text previews instead. So need to do text previews on blog posts to not have to get rid of duplicate content. It also looked like you were using just the post name with no categories. Is that right?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I mean, not on purpose, obviously, but
right. Okay, so this is the author.
Isn't it down there? Aren't they the categories? Bagels, catering, cold smoking, all that.
Yeah, we'll look at that 1 second. The first thing I want to look at is the structured data. So we go into here. And that's weird. So we wanted, let me make this text a little bit bigger. Get rid of local business markup on every page. So this is another thing, is that if we're putting local business markup on every page, that means the main location is showing on every single page, even the location pages. So that's showing signals that those other location pages are is the main page in Jupyter. If that makes sense. Either way, the blog needs blog posting markup. All this stuff's pretty easy to do. You just install a plugin for the schema stuff.
Okay.
Also, the about and contact page need about and contact markup. Okay, so getting back to this, you can see the author right here. This is all the things that the author's written, or whatever the author's name is, Bagel Boys. Now the problem is, well, no problem actually, because you're not indexing. Now if you were indexing, that would be an additional 3 times the duplicate content. So good thing that we're not doing that. So it looks like we're using categories and tags. And not only that, but we're using like 8 different tags and looks like 5 different categories per post. So that's another thing, is that means this post with all of its preview is showing up here, 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 and all of here. So that's like 20 times the duplicate content, which is really not good. So first of all...
So we should just have 1 and 1?
Yeah, so 1 category per post and no index tags, and stop using them. The only reason I say stop using them is because tags, unless you're doing them really well, and in order to do them really well, you have to make sure that you're building out specific descriptions and everything around these tags, which I don't think you want to do, and there's really no reason to do it unless you're like a huge news site. The next things are, so yeah, let me just put in that. No index tags. You can still keep the tags if you want. You can just keep them on the post. Just make sure you're no indexing them. And then with the categories, put one category per post. And you can keep the categories indexed, but with the categories, you want to try to put a little bit of text explaining them. So if you go into here, it's pretty easy to do. All you have to do is say it's catering. You just explain a little bit about catering and the different posts, like the important posts. I can show you an example. So if we go here, and my site's really, really poorly designed right now, so I apologize for showing you this. But if we go to like local, maybe local, I don't know if I built this one out yet. No, I didn't build that one out. We'll go to this one. So here, Chase Renner shares video tutorials about SEO for different topics like local SEO, and then it just points to that post. So you just explain what it is. And it makes it a little bit more relevant for that page. It's just good to do, and you're also passing authority. That's probably on the 100th thing to do, though, on the list. These are just things that I'm noticing. So besides that, the content's really good, and it looks like you're doing silos, which is awesome. So that's awesome. One of the things that we do want to look at also is the site speed. So let's go to Page Speed Insights. I don't know if I lost you, but the background noise that was going on, I don't hear anything. I think maybe you muted your... Oh, I muted myself. Sorry about that. All right. So server response times at 2.3 seconds. What are you using for hosting?
SiteGround.
Yeah, I would switch that to like WP Engine. Wait, are you using... this is WordPress, right?
Yeah.
I would definitely switch to WP Engine.
See,
yeah, go ahead.
Because I already switched from GoDaddy because I heard they were really bad. So I switched to SiteGround because I heard they were pretty fast.
Well, I mean, maybe it's just not set up correctly, but it says the server is a 2.3 second load time. I know it sounds awful, like try to switch it again, but it's really easy to do if you wanted to switch to WP Engine. It's what I use, and they give you free SSL as well, which you also need. It's up to you though, man. If anything, I would contact them and ask them why the server's so slow. Okay, so other than that, looks pretty good. Also, I would do image compression if you're not doing it already. You can just get a plugin for this as well. You can get a plugin for pretty much all of this. Oops, image compression. I use Smusher. All right, the next thing that we want to look at is the location pages. So let's see contact first. Okay, that looks good. This looks fine. We also want to make sure that there's conversion tracking. Are you doing conversion tracking?
No.
Okay, so yeah, I won't even do it then. Want to set up, whoops. You want to do that first before anything, because then you actually get to see whether or not these things are making a difference.
And more or less, I'll just Google how you set that up and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I have videos for it too, if you ever need to look at that. Also, I do both online and offline conversion tracking, which means I track not just the people who contact me through the forums, but people who contact me through the phone. So you may want to consider setting up online and offline. And I mean, all of these things too are things I could help you with. I mean, generally what people do is they'll do the easy stuff, and then they'll just hire me to do the more technical things, so they don't have to spend hours trying to figure it out. Okay, let's see. So here's the location. I think I just want to look at the last pages, and then we'll go into more of the off-page stuff. So this is the Jupyter location. So with the Jupyter location, I mean, this is fine, but the homepage is basically replicating this. So we don't want to try to have one page cannibalize the other, if that makes sense. Might want to no index the Jupiter one since you're trying to rank the homepage for Jupiter and keep the other ones going. But that's kind of up to you, unless it's different enough. So like if you can make that unique enough where it's like for instance, if we were to just type in your site right now, Google's probably filtering out, like if we went like site : boom, and then we went down to, actually, I think you have to type in the keyword, but this is something I just picked up. So for some reason it's indexing all of these, which we want to make sure we're no indexing, because they're just in content pages. Okay, so this one, yeah, so I would just make these a little bit more descriptive to the area. And a great example of this is like I ran an experiment once where I was able to rank for a city with like 2,000 monthly searches. And what I did is I just found out information about the area off of Wikipedia, and I just added that to the page. So you can see this is ranking. So yeah, this is something you could easily do. Just go to Wikipedia, find out information. Don't copy and paste it, but like, you know.
Like, so if I know I'm near like a nature preserve or something like that or whatever, you know, including that on my actual landing page of that location.
Yeah, so the more descriptive you can make it to the area, like the history of your business being in that area, the location that you're actually next to. A good example is like if you wanted to like really see somebody who does local SEO like in an amazing way, you can see this guy. He's like talks about all the different areas around his main area that he offers his services to, all the different services. You'll see where he's located next to, half block northeast of that area. So you can get even more in depth with this stuff too, and like explain about like the weather in the area. I mean, if it makes sense. If it just sounds like you're just stuffing content in there and nobody actually cares about the weather because you're a bagel shop, then I wouldn't do it. But in certain scenarios, like if it's like a camping website or something, you would want to do that. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And in most cases, you don't even really have to do this stuff. Like, here's the thing: it's really the ROI that you want to look at, because looks like you're already ranking pretty well. So it might make more sense to spend the time working on these other areas, which I guess that's actually what we're talking about. But like you're not going to get much of an ROI by spending a lot of time trying to rank the homepage any higher, because you're already number one, and the only other thing that you'll probably be able to rank even higher for is organically, which even then is not going to be a huge benefit, because you're actually ranking like number 4, and getting number 1 may be helpful, but most of the clicks are going to be coming through local. And then also optimizing this, it looks like you're losing the location extensions and the phone number call extensions, but there's some other things you can do in here as well, which I would be interested in looking at what you're doing. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the on page for the pages. I would also probably do a reviews tab with review markup. And maybe do some, once you have conversion tracking set up, you can start doing some conversion rate optimization, which means after a month of conversion tracking, you can see that, for instance, the homepage has a 2% conversion rate. Then you can try to test what would be able to make that higher, maybe adding a testimonial. So after a month of conversion tracking, I would start to look at CRO, which is conversion rate optimization.
Now, and more or less, are you saying like, so right now I'm ranking really high for that search that you did, but a way to kind of expand Like, so say I just don't want to show up for a bagel shop. I want to show up for a deli, breakfast catering, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean?
Right. So those would be your different pages that you offer. I mean, the different services, really. So for that, really what it is just making sure that you're listing them. And then also, like I said, on the homepage, within your interlinking, you would be talking about your breakfast catering and your, whatever other services you offer that you want people to know about, because that just makes sense. You know what I mean? People are looking through it. Oh, they also offer breakfast catering. That's awesome. And then you have a link going to it. But also Google likes that because they're like, oh, well, they offer that, and then they go and crawl it. So, I mean, like I said, with the SBPC Tech guy, great example. You'll see he offers all these different things, so why not list them? You know what I mean? And now he's ranking for virus removal. Now he's ranking for laptop repair. Same thing with you. It would be catering, breakfast catering, lunch catering. I don't know what else. Maybe delivery. I don't know. Because people are searching those things, right? And if you offer them, then why not list them?
And is it better to list them across the top as opposed to like in a drop-down menu?
No, it doesn't really matter, actually. It's actually probably better because it makes more sense if you have, like, services or what we offer and then the drop-downs, because it makes sense that you would have that so that you could show people the other things that you offer instead of it just being a huge list of things that people are, like, getting overwhelmed with.
Right.
Okay, so that's pretty much it for the on-page for the website. So some of the other things that we'd want to look at is if we go into the index. So we already saw some of the things that we need to know index, like those pages that have no content on them, just like a picture. So I always type in the basics. So author, we already know that that's not being indexed. We already know that the categories are being indexed, I believe. Yep. And you can see right there, look, that's what I was talking about earlier, is the repeat search with omitted results, meaning it's filtering out these results because there's duplicate content. Mm-hmm. If we type in tag, so all these are being indexed, and then same thing here. Boom, 7. So that's a clear sign that Google's recognizing this as duplicate content, which we don't want to have because it devalues the pages. The next thing that we're going to look at is dates, which I don't think you're doing. We'll just type in 11, 12, and 1, and it doesn't look like it, so that's fine. All right, so that's it for those. The next thing that we want to look at is the citations and the NAP consistency. So we'll go into here, White Spark, and we'll go into Moz Local. Which one of these is the
Jupiter?
Jupiter.
I have a co-op.
Okay, thank you. So 3, 3, 4, 5, 8. Yeah, so we just want to list those different names on the Google My Business because it's kind of confusing that there's 3 with the same exact names.
Yeah, I had actually had it like that, and I switched them all to Bagel Boys. I don't know. I guess I got conflicting
opinions.
Yeah, on that.
Well, maybe that's true. It doesn't seem right to me. I mean, I could ask about that, but I wouldn't see why you wouldn't want to have the areas in them.
Right.
But I might be wrong. That's one of those things that it's like I haven't really spent too much time thinking about. Bagel shop. What the hell? Oh, I'm not typing in. Sorry, I was talking and trying to think at the same time, which is usually my problem. Okay, so there it is. Here, I'll ask about it. So you got 87. Did you already plug it into Moz Local?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I would just do the manual pushes on the incomplete ones. So
the thing is where it has, like, for instance, I just recently switched my Facebook. Some of this stuff when I was trying to update it to make it more SEO friendly, I kind of must have screwed up because I was at like a 94% on Moz. And, like, for instance, I tried to switch my Facebook where I have 1 business page and then 3 location pages. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for some reason that has now conflicted with it, and it's showing like my Facebook is like 15% incomplete or something like that, or inaccurate.
I mean, if it's consistent and Moz just isn't picking up, I wouldn't worry about it. If you have 3 different locations on Google My Business, locations, should you have the same name, business name, plus area or just business name. All right. Yeah, so I mean, if you're already doing that stuff and it's not going through, it says inconsistent, I mean, you're pretty much as good as you're going to get anyways. So if not, if you already did the manual pushes, then don't worry about it. Let's check out your citation. Have you done any citation building?
So, I believe so. Like, as far as like, I just went to one of your videos had like, if you search this place, it'll tell you the best places to build citations based on your industry, and I used that, except for the ones that charge you, like City Search and a couple other places. I didn't do them on there. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Which is probably, when you started, how were you ranking, and then after you started doing this stuff?
Like I said, I didn't even have a website for like months on end. I was focusing on other stuff, and I was like, this is so stupid, So I started my website back up, and I had someone build it, and then I started just studying, basically all your videos to try to edit things and make it better, But I wasn't showing up anywhere, and I only had like 10 reviews and stuff like that. Yeah. So I started doing that review thing you sent where you have the link, I started sending that to customers after they were happy and stuff, and getting a bunch of 5-star reviews, and then trying to respond to everyone. I didn't have a Google My Business. I didn't have any of that stuff.
Right. Yeah, so it looks like, I think maybe if you're in that area, you might be number 3, which is what you were saying. But you could still build out more citations. So I would do some of that. It's pretty easy to do. You don't even have to do it yourself. I use this guy called Citation Builder Pro. And it's white hat. It's not like building links. It's not like buying links or anything. And you're already doing the responding to the reviews and uploading images and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have some to respond to still because I've gotten a lot as of recently, but yes, for the most part.
All right. And are you doing optimizations like on like Yelp and Facebook as well, like making sure your images are complete there? And
yeah, I respond to everyone on Yelp. I've updated all my images and stuff like that, or a lot of pictures I at least have, on there.
Okay, cool.
I haven't had one for a couple weeks, but I have like 50 on there or something.
I'd put your Google Plus link in here too if I were you.
Yeah, that's one thing I've kind of had trouble with. I wasn't even sure. Like, I had someone originally that I hired as like a social media manager, and he built my website, and I ended up just kind of getting rid of him because like things weren't going how I liked, So I don't even know how my Google Plus is set up and things like that,
Right. So this guy's saying Google says not to use a city name, but I think if it makes sense where you have 3 different locations, you probably should. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've used it with like 6 different locations on my own business on the computer repair website, and I was ranking for like all these different cities, and I didn't get in any trouble. But I don't know. I think you'd be okay. I don't know. I mean, worst case scenario, I feel like they would just tell you to change it, but I've never even heard of that happening. Okay, so citations, NAP consistency, we already looked at that stuff. The only other thing that we need to look at is the screaming frog crawl. So if we go into here and we filter by HTML, you can see these are all the different URLs, all those different tags and categories. And it looks like we do have a date. Let's see if that's being indexed. Oops. Nope, so that's good. So we're going to scroll over. Well, actually, we're just going to go over here. It makes it easier. So we're going to go to page titles. Looks like there's a couple duplicates, but these are just the tags. So once we remove those, we don't have to worry about that. So the page titles look overall pretty good, except for some are a little over the limit. Let's see if these are on any relevant pages. Yeah, so like on the breakfast catering, that's 120 character title, so we want to make sure we reduce those. And I think you're using Yoast, so it should just pick that up. So I would just go into those and make sure you're fixing those. For the meta descriptions, it looks like a good amount of them are actually missing on tags, so I guess that's not really a big deal. So we're not going to worry about that. People keep messaging me. Same name. So everybody else is saying same name, so I guess maybe you should keep it that way. I wouldn't, but whatever. So for meta keywords, we already talked about that. We need to get rid of those. There's only one page that's missing in H1, so just add H1 to the contact page. Oops.
So really, is like the glaring thing that sticks out to you just the fact that they're all pointing towards my homepage?
Well, that's one of the big things. I mean, not big, but that's one of the things that I would definitely fix. Add alt tags to 31 images. You can just go into media tab on WordPress and add alts. So you would just
I thought I had alt tags on all of them. I guess not even close.
Well, maybe it didn't pick it up right. If it didn't, then just don't worry about it. So we got our canonicals. It doesn't look like we're using the rel next and rel prev tags for the blogs, so we want to make sure we do that because that's going to even show up as more duplicate content. And you don't even have to worry about what that means, but there's a setting in Yoast that you can just switch it on, and then right now it's not switched on. It just has to do with duplicate content. All right. Follow links or no index, no follow. Okay, so did you just add these or something? Because they're now no index, no follow, and they weren't before. Well, actually, maybe these are different ones. I don't know. Because some of them were definitely being indexed. Whatever. So yeah, other than that, it would just be like click-through rate optimization and conversion rate optimization and lowering the bounce rates. But that's like week 2 or month 2 or month 3. I mean, we could start looking at that stuff now, but you have some other stuff that you probably want to get done first. Like for instance, well, let me just build out the top 10. So we'll go, oops. So generally I let people guess these things, but I think we only have like 16 people, which is actually decent, but I'm not gonna have them guess today. You could guess though if you wanted to, man.
No, that's all right. I mean, I know some of them, I think.
Yeah, so the first one would be to no index the duplicate content pages, duplicate and thin content pages. That's gonna be the biggest thing. First, the very biggest thing first. Actually, no. The biggest thing first would be to do the rank tracking and the conversion tracking. Because then at least you get to measure whether or not things are making a difference. The third thing would be to fix those Google My Business listings to... It's up to you to include the cities or not. I would definitely, though, to use correct URLs to subpages.
And so that means I should go across all my places I have it listed too, right? To do that?
Well,
like say like on Yelp, I have 3 locations. I should also change where it points to, not the home page.
Yeah, so I mean, it's up to you, man. Like, if you're ranking those other places already really well, it's just that if you're going to be going for these separate pages, I mean, it makes sense for people to be landing on those different locations and not the home page, which we're trying to optimize for the Jupiter location. But it really is a time/cost/benefit sort of thing where you have to figure out if that's something you really want to be spending your time doing. But I know for best practice, I would at least fix the Google My Business and the Yelp to point to the right ones. And then if you wanted to, you could build out citations to the separate to those separate listings with those correct URLs, and it might help them rank higher in those certain areas. I don't know how the other ones are doing yet in those other areas. So the next thing I would do is figure out the hosting situation. because the fact that it's making a 2-second load time is insane, and there's no reason that should be happening. And consider switching to SSL. Oh, this guy right here is like the Google My Business king. You can add the location now, but only in certain... Oops. Okay, we'll wait for that to load. The next ones would be to do
Does SSL, does that actually help rankings? That's eventually going to go towards that, right?
Yeah, Google's saying that everybody needs to do the transition, so I would do it. It's not a huge ranking benefit, but it is a small ranking benefit, but overall it's just good to have. Mm-hmm. And it only takes like, an hour to do. Do basic on page SEO. So fixing titles, H1s, alts, etc. Whoops. Start doing internal siloing. I'll just say internal linking so you don't have to worry about what's... and then the other one would be the fix the above the fold problem on every page. Or situation. I'll just call it situation. You don't have to, but honestly, like I said, you don't really want to have the same above the fold on every single page like that.
Right, so I could just change the above the fold to something that's relevant to that page.
Right, yeah, exactly. Also, I would do fix the schema, and also you can add the reviews to certain pages if you wanted to. So for like the catering, say you had a bunch of reviews for the breakfast catering you do, you could add that to the breakfast catering page, and then it would show up with stars under the search results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did actually try to add that and I must have done something wrong. I tried to do my Facebook rankings on there.
Right.
And it wouldn't come through right, so I'll have to look at it again.
Okay. Just trying to think what would be a good last one, because there's a good amount of things that you could focus on that are kind of minor. I think the continuing to build out the pages, so and what was I going to say? It was service pages and something to do...
Content on my pages?
Yeah, I think that was it. Getting the content built out. So I think that's good for the first 10. What people usually do is they do like all these changes. They have me help with the technical if they need it, and then like a month or two later, I'll go back and I'll do a new audit and see what needs to be done, because there's always something you can do, especially when you have multiple locations. But I think this would be a good start, and I think you're actually not that bad off. I would be a little bit careful about trying to do all of these things at once, mainly because you're kind of in a little bit of a precarious situation with all of these listings pointing to the homepage and all of this content kind of being... I don't see it ever being a bad thing to no index content that's duplicate, but the thing is that when you're already ranking number one in certain like locations, or you're just ranking number one for what you're trying to go for, you don't really want to break anything that hasn't been broken. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's already number one. So I'm usually more careful, even if I know for sure, like no indexing the content, it's going to be a good thing, or doing the basic on page for making sure that the titles are too long, fixing those. Even those scenarios though, I'm still a little bit more careful, because even if it's a good thing, it can still be a bad thing if Google doesn't perhaps pick it up in the way that you wanted it to pick it up, or maybe you're optimizing for something else and you end up losing your. So I would just be a little bit more careful if you're going to be doing this stuff in terms of like trying to do all of this stuff at once, like switching the hosting, doing the SSL, doing the internal linking, all that stuff at once. Because if you do all that stuff at once, you might like take a hit or something for something, and you don't know what's that necessarily going to correlate to.
Right.
So,
Now, why is it that when I'm searching, like I go to the google.co.uk, right? My results are coming up different than what you're searching on your end.
wait, are you in the UK?
No.
Oh.
But I'm saying, like, isn't that what you said to go to get a non-biased?
You go to google.co.uk and you go to honeypot marketing unbiased search, and you grab this code. I can give it to you. There's this code.
Like, when you searched, I came up as number 1.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, because you're searching from the UK, so you have to put in the US code. So let me grab that. There it is. So you add this to the end of the URL. So you go like that. So we're going to do Bagel, Shops, Jupiter, Florida. So yeah, so now you're number 2, but then let's put this in here. Still the same. So yeah, there's something called the Possum update that Google put in to its algorithm recently, and it really has to do with your location. So like in Santa Barbara, where I'm at, it might show a different bias search, where if you're like over here, like in Lohaxachi something.
Lohaxachi, yeah.
I just butchered that. If you're there, you might be more likely to show you number 1 than if you were over here.
Right, okay.
So it's the same thing even if I'm like way out of state or way out of city. Now, one of the things that you can do to like show up no matter what as number 1, even if they're over here, is you just keep driving those reviews, keep doing the stuff that we're talking about, and generally, since you have such high ratings and such so much authority, Google will show you. Now, the other thing is that you can also show up twice. So yeah, here you go. So you're showing up here and here because you're ad and you're using location extensions. So yeah.
So the weird thing is, like, if you could, like, I know our time's basically up, but just if you click on his website real quick, if you don't mind, the Maplewood Bagel Market,
Right.
The odd thing is, like, if you go to his like website, it's just like it's very like generic and nothing. I can tell he doesn't update or do anything to it, so it just really like that's like the content on the main page. You know what I mean? So it just kind of surprises me that, you know what I'm saying?
It's like people who are genetically born with 6-packs. It's annoying. It's annoying. It's annoying because it's like, why I'm working out so hard, and they're still.
Right. Nice analogy. All right.
It's just annoying. But the thing is, man, is like you don't know what their conversion rate looks like. You don't know how many of these people are like saying the same thing. This is generic, and then bouncing off into here. I mean, there's so many things that you have to consider besides the fact that they're just ranking and they're not really doing much. It might also be that they just had like a really good article written about them and it's passing like a huge amount of page authority. So I would spend a little bit more time just like doing the stuff we're talking about. It also might be that you have, 80 pages of duplicate content on your website, and once you no index that stuff, it might shoot you up. So
right. Yeah, because they only have like I saw like backlinks. I'm destroying them in backlinks. I'm destroying them and everything else I could possibly think of. So it was just odd to me,
Yeah, and that's the thing the thing about SEO is like it could be that your SEO is so good, but the fact that you're like not hammering on this certain category is deranking you, or maybe they're, it's constant testing, constant figuring out what the actual like thing is that people want. So user experience and user intent. But I'm telling you, most of this stuff, if you focus on it, regardless of whether they're ranking or not, you should be getting more people coming in the door, which is really the only thing that really matters at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I know I'm much busier and stuff like that, but it just like bothered me that I wasn't number 1. It like drove me crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people actually take it more as like a personal thing, where they're like, I'm the better business than this business.
Yeah, it like pisses me off. I can't get it out of my head. My wife thinks I'm like crazy and obsessive because I can't stop.
You don't know how many times I hear that, where people will come to me, and it's not even really about the the traffic. It's more about the fact that they just think they're the best business in town. They should be
Yeah.
ranking number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so cool. So I'll start on that top 10 roadmap. You'll just email this to me then,
Yes.
and then if I run into a pinch, I will hit you up. And then, so how do you charge? Just hourly based on any of the high tech stuff? Well, high tech in my.
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes people will buy our packages of ours. If you wanted to just get on a Skype call and just have me run through things with you for an hour, it would be, it would be like what you paid today. But if it was packages, I charge $125 for, 5-hour packages. I mean, $125 an hour for 5 hours.
Right.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's kind of how it works.
$625 for that.
Yeah.
Okay, and did you see anything else on the name thing? You said you wanted to look at what the one guy posted on there about the Google My Business on your Facebook. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that. I don't know where it went. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so you can add the location now, but only in certain circumstances. Using the business location within the name has been dropped as a violation in certain circumstances. If there's one singular business called the Pink Fluffy Elephant, then adding the location to the name would be a violation. If the business has branch locations, then it is permitted to add the location. See? This is why.
Right.
And that just makes sense. I mean, why else? Because who wants to go to Google and find 3 locations that all have this exact same name? They're not going to know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was my gut instinct.
So then I would just have to make sure I'm really smart about going and changing my NAP on all of it then, though, right?
Well, I mean, if you have mods connected to each locations, it'll manually push them after like a month or two. I mean, automatically. But if you wanted to just do it all yourself, you could. You just have to make sure that yeah.
Oh, you can just pay Moz to do that, and they'll do it.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is, you'd be paying for 3 different locations, but it's easier to do it that way than having. What I would do, I would set up the location pages so that they're more unique to the area. I would make sure you just manually push in the beginning, just like Google and Yelp, to point to the correct URLs, and then I would just plug those into Moz at that point and have them take care of all the ridiculous ones like Hot Frog and Square, all the other ones. And then I would probably just build citations to those separate landing pages. And then what's going to end up happening is you're going to have your home page ranking for your main area, and the other 2 pages hopefully ranking for those areas.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, yeah, let me know if you need any help, and I will definitely email that over to you right after this.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please leave a like, and might be doing another video later today. So if I catch you guys, then yeah, I have such bad. What is it? It's not introductions, it's the opposite of introductions. I can't even say that. So either way, until I see you guys next time, happy SEOing.